make a motion to approve them. 2020.
Okay, you have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye with your name, because we can't see everybody.
Aye.
Jim Tromke, aye.
You can't vote, I wasn't there.
Okay, then Brian abstains. And I didn't check back to see who was here, to be honest with you. I'll have to rely on Lil on that.
Just myself and Gary weren't here.
You and Garrett, okay. Okay, Bill, you said aye, right?
Yes.
Okay, Jay will say aye. So we have 3 ayes and 1 abstention, Lil. And whatever you do. Will bring us to the, what was that?
Well, I don't need to be because you've got a quorum.
Right, but we don't have 5 people, so you can be a member as an alternate. There's no problem.
I will say aye then.
Okay, Lil says aye. Then we'll go to the 22nd of December, 2020 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion. Jim Tromke will make a motion to approve.
Okay. And seconded.
I'll second. Brian, second.
Okay, any further discussion on the 22nd of December meeting minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye with your name so we can get the down.
Aye. Aye, Bill.
Hi, Brian.
Jim's and I.
And Jay's and I.
And Lils and I.
Okay. Okay, so that'll bring us right into the first of the action items, which is land acquisition. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen here. Let me know if you guys can see this or not.
Yes.
Again,
I can
Okay.
see it.
you see this here? This is the school, junior, senior high school. This here is the East Meadow School I'm pointing to. And then if you look here, this is more town-owned land behind it here. And if you go over here, oh, not that one, I want this one. Here's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I got so many windows here, I'm not used to how to share this thing here. No.
Yeah, that would be to the north schools.
Let me close this. And here is the Sandy Pines that we've been talking about. And this is mainly for Brian and Jim. I can tell you on 7 December that the select board voted to send it to the land use committee. I do not know if you guys have received it or not yet.
We
I
have not.
haven't, Brian. You have not. Okay.
Okay,
Brian,
but what,
Brian, chair of the committee.
I didn't know that.
what I'm trying to show you here is we have 99.5 acres up here of Sandy Pines. Right here. It's a lot of acreage. It's all cleaned. You all got the Mass DEP stuff that's cleaned up. And if you look at here, here's our school, which is owned by the town. Here's another parcel of land that's also owned by the town. If we were smart and if we got this land and we decided to do ground mounted solar here, we could take it from this block and bring it straight to the school. If you do it this way, you take all the electricity you're generating and use it in these 2 complex. And in the amount of electricity that these 2 buildings currently use, I don't think we're gonna oversaturate it. So we can do what's called behind the meter. So we use the electricity directly to these 2 buildings. And then like on your electric bill, you have 2 charges, one for your electricity and one for your distribution. The distribution charge is a lot more than the actual cost of electricity. Everybody agree on that? Didn't
Yeah.
hear any. Yeah. Okay, but if we do it this way, we don't pay distribution charge. The only thing we'd have to do is we'd have to talk to Alan Kay about if we can get an easement across his property here. And this parcel, small parcel, is owned by this Stephanie Mose. It's a landlocked piece of property. So they may even want to sell it, who knows? But we gotta come from here over to here. And then we don't have to come down Green Meadow Lane. They don't need bigger telephone poles. They don't need nothing because we're gonna use the electricity directly to the buildings. It's called behind the meter. You pay no distribution charges at all to National Grid. And that's a substantial savings. So that's basically for Brian and Jim. So you can see this. Then the only other one, that Irene Rapper one, I can go there if you want. It's up to you. We've been calling it 4 West State Street. It's actually 2 West State Street. Number 2, the first piece of property in Granby. Do you want to see
Jake.
it on this? You want to see it on the map?
Jay, can we just back up a minute? Do you
Yeah,
mind?
go ahead. Yeah,
Okay. So given the parcel you were just talking about,
which parcel? This one?
no, the old Westover parcel, the Sandy Lane or whatever you're calling it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I think the select board needs to get it to the land review committee sooner rather than later.
Oh, I agree. The town administrator's been directed to get it to you.
Okay, so there may be, I get what you're proposing to do with the property, but there may be other uses, or that use may not be allowed based on clear cutting. But there may be other uses or other reasons the town should purchase it to begin with, rather
That's the
than just.
purpose of going to your committee.
That's why I'm saying in my opinion, I think that needs to happen sooner than later. If it's a good pickup, there could be other values for the town other than just solar.
I agree.
The downside to Russian right now, Jimmy, and I'm not opposed to that, believe me, but the downside to Russian is I can hear Bill now. He likes to look at property before he makes up his mind. And that's a piece out there that I'd love to see again. I haven't seen it for, 20 years. And I'd like to see what it's looking like at this point in time also. So the snow may mess us up. So we may need to wait a week or two into March and then take a walk out there.
Well, I think some of the newer satellites can give you some up-to-date, probably better view of what's going on than even walking the property.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I'm bringing it up is I know, Jay, you're talking about solar, but that's one reason to purchase it, but there may be other reasons as well.
I agree. But I just wanted to give you the example of behind the meter to save money. That was the only purpose of stating that.
Yep, I get it.
That was the only reason, to show you how close we are to doing behind the meter. We do not have to go to the grid. That was the only purpose.
Okay.
Now,
Understood.
you guys may come up with some better ideas and uses for that property than solar, but that's the purpose of the land use committee, to look at it and find out.
Exactly.
And like I said, the select board directed the town administrator on 7 December to forward all the information to you too. And Kathy Leonard did ask me, do you guys need any of the documents? And I said, you already had the Mass DEP documents. And those are the only documents that I am aware of about that property. Of course, except for our own Board of Assessors documents, which we could get anytime.
Not to turn this into the review committee, but what are they asking for the property? What's the deal with the turnover?
Right now, they're not asking a thing. They don't know what to do with it. Nobody's using it. And Brian's familiar for, what is it, Brown Ellison Park? Brian?
Right.
So Brian's familiar how to do this. He's done it before.
Yeah, we didn't pay for it. It's, once it gets beyond the state, Jimmy, it gets to the local community, there's no price tag on it.
Yeah, okay, that's, okay. It's refreshing my memory. I think you brought that up before.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sorry, Jay, I didn't mean to interrupt your
No, it's
flow of-
okay. No, that's, like I say, the whole purpose is to share this information in case people need it or something. Let me see, where am I? Route 202, Granby, West State Street. There's Finn's Hill. There's the Five Corners. And hey, there is Irene Rapper, 2 West State Street right there. And then if you go to this one here, this one is the town of Granby. So that would give us access to that property there. And as far as I know, that's supposed to be turned over to the Land Use Committee as well.
Have you seen anything, Brian?
No, Jimmy, not at all. And generally,
And-
Jay, we don't sit on something, we get it, we go right to it.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, if you watch the select board meeting of 7 December, the town administrator was directed to send it over to you with the letter that we sent to them, recommending it for the economic development. They voted
Okay.
on it and sent it on 7 December. And here we are, what, 21 February?
I'll give Kathy a call. She's the one who gets me involved in it, so I'll give her a holler.
She may tell you that she did ask me if there was any documentation that you guys needed. And I said, as far as the Sandy Pines, you had all the documentation for that on the Mass DEP cleanup. And Chris Martin was handling the Irene Rapper. Yeah. Kathy gave it to me and then Chris took her away. So I don't care one way or the other, as long as it works
Jay.
for the town.
Jay, the Irene Rapper, the 2, is that on the north or the south side? Refresh my memory.
It's on the, it's right adjacent, it's right here. It's on the south side.
He doesn't have
That's right.
video. That's right next
No.
Oh, he's not watching video, so he can't see the maps we got called up.
right.
No, but I'm pretty familiar with the whole area. That's on the south side of West State Street.
Yep. It's number 2 West State Street, Irene C. Rapper.
Okay.
She lives at 52 Prospect Street in Ludlow, Mass.
Just about across from the
Granby
West side.
Motel.
Maybe motel.
Yeah, Granby Motel, it should be right here, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're number 5 West State Street. Okay, we all through with the maps? Anybody want to see anything else before I get rid of them? Going once? Okay.
Bill,
Again,
wake up.
What was that?
He said, Bill, wake up. I can see that blanket's gone, Bill.
I'm all right.
That blanket behind you, you know.
Okay,
So
I'm
you-
trying to figure out how to close this screen. Hope I don't lose everybody, so let's see what happens when I do this. No, I don't want to leave the meeting. That's the wrong button. Oh, well, I'll just leave. Hey, Leo, how do you stop sharing the screen on this thing?
That's a very good question.
What if you minimize up in the right-hand corner?
Gives you my desktop.
How about your settings? You should have settings in there. Maybe not there. Chat. People.
I can say, I don't know. They gave me this share. I don't know how to use it. I
I'll
don't-
text Kathy and see if she can let us know.
Okay. Because I just wanted to get back to us at this main screen here. Because if I hit this one, this is go to meeting, not Zoom. It's right here where all we are. It is open, but it's in my screen, it's very small, very small. Yeah, I did that and it says go to meeting. And it doesn't give me nothing. And if the only other thing if I have up there is if I hit an X, it says leave meeting. Ta-da! I found the button. Hey, there we go. So we're back to normal. Okay, we talked about the 2 West State Street and we talked about the Sandy Pines. So that's off of that agenda. Let me go to my next page here. Hey, Bill, is there any update at all from the Board of Assessors on this tax incentive for business, or that's still being mulled around?
It's still being talked about. I mean,
Okay.
we're in favor of it. We're gonna do something. It's not like we're dragging our heels because we're negative.
But for the record, it's an open action item, so I just wanted to bring it up and see what the status was, that's all.
Okay.
No
Don't
more
you
than
have
that.
Don't you have somebody that you can copy, Bill? Isn't there a community that's already doing this that you can look at, get some ideas?
Say it again, Brian?
I said, isn't there another community locally that is doing this?
Yes, East Long Meadow is what we're looking at.
Okay, good.
Okay, East Long Meadow, I'll just put this.
It's always
on my
easier to
note.
copy than to create.
Yeah, why reinvent the wheel? Okay, next on our agenda is the Route 202 upgrades. Basically, we're talking about the water project. The water project, from what we've been told, is scheduled to be started in the spring by Mass DOT, and Granby is not involved. So they're gonna go ahead with the renovation of Route 202 unless things change without Granby. Back on June 18th, the select board directed the town administrator to write a letter to all the politicians to arrange a meeting. No meeting, no reply from the politicians, no meeting was held. Basically, we have $1.2 million. It's a $1.7 million project. The state was going to give us $560,000 originally in in-kind funds. So the 560,000 and the 1.2 million made over the amount of money we needed. It went out to bid, but the lowest bidder basically was charging us $800,000 to put the pipe over the bridge. So we were picking up a large share of the Mass DOT project. So Granby says, no, we're not going to pay all that money because it's not right. And they threw the bid out. So they went out for rebid without Granby because Granby, the way it was explained to me, Mass DOT has 2019 money. So they don't need to wait for any money like other projects. And they've encumbered it over the years to keep it. Now, Granby had, when we lost, but the state was taking away the $560,000 of in-kind funds. They says, it didn't work with you the last time. We don't want you to hold us up. So if you want to do the water pipeline, you do it on your own. And then after you pay for all the in-kind expenses out of your own pocket, we're going to come back and do our thing. And you're going to pay for all the in-kind expenses again, but this time through the state tax roll. So we sent a message to the politicians. We didn't think this was right. The politicians, probably because of COVID-19 and all the budgetary stuff and everything that was changing at the time in June going on, never got back to the town. And so none of the in-kind funds was reinstated because Mass DOT doesn't want to listen to us. So we were trying to use the politicians and it didn't work. So bottom line is, unless something changes, the water pipeline is going to die. I don't know what to say. We're supposed to be, the select board is supposed to be meeting with Eric Lesser on 1 March. That is part of the subject of the conversation. It's his yearly meeting with the town, elected officials, that is, the select board. And basically going to say, you got sent letters, emails, phone calls back in June of 2020, and nobody bothered to recall us back. And we finally got an email saying, well, you have to go get more money. We can't get more money. Well, why can't you get more money? Well, for one reason, we don't think the people of Granby should have to pay for in-kind funds twice. And the second part is, the governor will not let us have a special town meeting because we can't gather the people. How are we going to ask the people for $100,000 or $200,000 more? We can't do it. We need your help. And no response.
Quite frankly, our
Yeah.
our representatives have been delinquent for Lesser and previous reps have been delinquent. It goes all the way back to the safety complex. They didn't raise a single nickel for us, but they showed up at groundbreaking and they showed up at the open house. They've done nothing for this town because there's not enough votes coming out of this town to make a difference for them.
Right, it's 4,500 votes.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line.
I agree.
That's a public statement I'm making on, and they should be embarrassed for it. They've done nothing for this town.
They were right there for the opening of East Meadow School though, right?
Yes, they were. What did they contribute?
Nothing. And the town paid the freight for that entire renovation and addition. So
And
I'm
if I
with
were-
you, Jim.
if I was select board, I wouldn't even be inviting them to these things anymore. They don't do
they-
anything for it.
They show up once a year because they feel it's a commitment, to show they're representing the other people. And you know me, Jim, if I got something to say, I'll say it.
Yeah, I know, but it's pretty lame. We've got nothing from them.
No, I agree entirely with you. I would not disagree at all. And basically, we'll have my say in court with them and then they can tell me to go pound sand. That's up to them.
As a matter of fact, Brian, you were on the select board when you kicked off the safety complex.
He's not there right now. I know you can't see it on video, but Brian has muted himself and he has
Okay.
left the screen right now. So
Well, anyway,
I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Jim. I'm gonna say the same, basically the same thing you just said. I'm gonna repeat to Lesser and them and saying, you know, we went to you for help. You were, nobody even replied to us. They didn't even have the courtesy to reply.
Well,
And then
then we should be telling the select board and the community should be saying, you know, it's time for a change. Let's vote for some people that are going to work with the small communities too.
Yeah, Brian's coming back now, Jim, if you want to talk to him.
Sorry, Jim, I had a call come in I had to take. But I
That's-
heard you guys. I was only in the hallway.
Basically, what I was saying was that you were on the select board when the safety complex was being built.
Yes.
At least in the beginning, when we were actually, you appointed me when we were
Yes.
looking for we didn't get a nickel from the state. And we keep talking about state representation, and we don't get any here in Granby. The only representation we get is when they show up for groundbreaking and open houses.
That's it.
Shame on them and shame on us for continuing to vote for the same people.
Yeah, well, it's been a bone of contention for a long time. Anyway, I don't want to get into that right now, but yeah, it's demographics, Jimmy. That's the word they keep throwing back at us. Demographics. We just don't have the demographics.
Yeah. We don't have, and that's basically what they're saying is you don't have enough votes.
Yeah.
So you have
mean,
to throw money.
Chicopee can call them up and say, hey, we need $75,000 for a, what do you call those special dogs?
For the police?
No, they call them, there's certain dogs, I forget the name of them, they're companion type dogs.
Oh, okay.
I forget I just can't get the words. Well, anyway, the city of Chicopee went to him and he got him $75,000 for a cemetery for all those dogs. But as Jim said, we don't get a nickel.
Not a nickel. And some of these communities don't need that kind of money. They've got more economic development in Chicopee. Why don't you look at their financial reports and see how well they're doing? Look at Had.
Yeah, you're right.
And a lot of these other communities that have all this business in their town, we can't do that here because we get no help. We can't get any infrastructure in here. We get no support from the state. And we're not the only community that they treat that are treated the same.
You're right. As I said when they brought me before the joint committee of the Senate and the House in Massachusetts, and I was there to talk about the infrastructure of water and sewer for Granby, I pointed out to them that the city of Boston has had a water infrastructure system for 200 years. 200 years, and look at all the towns in Western Massachusetts that still don't have water and or sewer.
Where does Boston suck their water from?
The Quabbin Reservoir, we all know that.
Exactly.
Okay, I think we beat that one to death because like I say, all we can see is one march and we'll have to say, but if we don't get in before the 5-year rule, it's not going to happen. So unless the politicians amazingly come up with some money to do it and reinstate us in the contract, it's just not going to happen. Number 3 on our agenda is grants and loans. As you gentlemen know, excuse me, people, forgot Lil's here too. I said that last October that I would be leaving, I would not be running for re-election on the select board, and I'd be going back into retirement. And with that, I'd be leaving the Economic Development Committee and the Energy Committee. Well, no new grants have been applied for by the select board. whether it's MVP, Mass Works, or anything like that. So what's gonna happen with all that stuff is to be determined by my successors. I don't know, but none have been recently applied for, and the deadlines have passed. And the deadlines are fastly approaching on other ones, and to my knowledge, nobody is even addressing it. And they have been brought up at the select board meetings, but it says either no comment or tone of silence goes over it. The Granby Municipal Utility Electric Department, the Energy Committee did forward a letter to the select board. And also our committee has forwarded a memo to the select board, reinstating that we would like to look into this like the town of Ashland did, where they saved their residents $785,000 in the first year. And that's something, Jim, that maybe that 99.5 acres could be used for as well, whatever's best for the town. But the select board has taken no action on it. And I'm only one vote, and that's all I'm going to say on that. And the last item on our agenda is the community compact. It was updated last in 2015. Our committee and the other committees have sent memos to the select board saying that it should be updated to what we currently need, which is economic development. And our recommendation was also information technology infrastructure throughout the town. And if you know, if the 55 communities in Massachusetts that had information technologies on their community compact prior to the COVID-19, they all got fully funded when it came out. If you weren't on it, you didn't get nothing, just like us. Now, I know there are some specific grants for the school. I don't know what they are. They go into the school budget. They got nothing with the town. So they manage them on themselves. So I don't want to say the town got nothing. The town minus the school got nothing as far as that goes. About the best way to put it, Brian? I don't know the proper way, because they have their own thing at the school they do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And from what I've been reading in the paper, since Biden is now the new president, there are different things coming out. With the schools being one of them, I'm going to get more. But I can tell you that the public buildings to open, whether it's the Board of Assessors office, the senior center, the safety complex, if you want to be open to the public, you have to do 5 air exchanges per hour, just like the school does. Well, currently there's grant money to do the schools, but there's no grant money to do the other public buildings at all. Whether that's going to change or not, I don't know. But all I can tell you is from the town standpoint, the town's going to have to pay to get these air exchanges in there. And it's going to be pretty easy on the most part for the new library and the safety complex, because they're relatively new buildings and they have air that does circulate. But the old library and buildings like that, the senior center, they're going to be more costly to do to get them to open. Because if they don't have 5 air exchanges per hour, they cannot be open to the general public. So, and I haven't seen anything in the FY22 budget on how that's going to be done or anything like that. Only thing I've seen on the FY22 budget is approximately $300,000 in new vehicles. And the only reason I've seen that is the Energy Committee. We have to sign off on the Energy Committee that they meet the green community requirements as far as gas mileage and all that stuff before it goes to the Capital Improvement Committee. So that's the only reason I know about that. With that being said, does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up or talk about?
Jay, I have a question about these air exchanges per hour.
Sure.
And since you're on the Energy Committee, you may know this.
Mhm.
Isn't part of the desire, isn't part of working with the Energy Committee and making buildings more efficient is reducing the air exchanges per hour?
No, it's reducing energy. It's not reducing the air exchange. The air exchange is air quality. Okay, how you maintain or improve your air quality with the reduction of energy is the way it has to be looked at. Air quality has to be improved in all the buildings because of COVID-19 and any future things like that.
Mhm.
Air quality has to be improved to 5 air exchanges per hour minimum. Now, on the Energy Committee, yes, there are grants out there to get stuff, or you could use stuff like we do in our house for Mass Save when you get energy efficient stuff. Like they have what's called an energy recovery ventilator, which I have one in my house. So it runs 24/7, 365 days a year. It brings in outside air. It equalizes the pressure. It shoots out inside air, and it has an air heat exchange where it's either hot or cold, whatever the house needs, it's going to introduce it to the air coming in the house. And it's also got a HEPA filter in it as well to do it. And if anybody's interested, I can send you the stuff. Mine's by Venmar. Get it? I got mine out of Canada because the research I did on that, and it seems like the Canadian houses have a lot more issues than we do because it's colder up there than it is down here. So they're a lot tighter and they've had a lot more air quality issues than us in the past. So they have done a lot of research and a lot of manufacturing of these type of ventilators. There's two kinds. It's a heat recovery ventilator, which is used just for the heating season, which is the majority of Canada. Then they have what's an energy recovery ventilator, which is good for all 4 seasons because it can be used with air conditioning as well as heat. And I have the ERV or energy recovery ventilator in my home. That answer your question, Bill, or?
Yes, it does. Because, yes, thank you.
It's air quality versus energy usage. Do you want to get the least amount of energy uses to get the air quality? And I'll tell you that my Venmar is like running a 90-watt light bulb 24/7. That's all electricity that it uses, which is hardly anything, right? Just on another subject, quick, we're working with Solar Block on the school. Talking about putting vertical solar on the building. And with that, we can start renovating the junior, senior high school. And approximately every square foot of solar equals about 100 watts of electricity under the current solar panel designs. That's an interest to anybody. Okay, with that being said, my time here on this committee is coming to a close because here we are in February, and my last day technically is May the 17th or May the 16th, whatever you want to call it, because the 17th is election day. I'd be more than happy to pass anything I have off to whoever's going to be on this committee when I leave, as far as information. So if we want to reorganize and stuff before I leave, I have no problem with that at all, and I'll help anybody with anything they want.
Jay, I hate to correct you, but you're on the board until June 30th.
No, that's only if the new bylaws pass, and they haven't been presented to special town meeting yet. I've already thought of that, Brian. May 17th is what's on the books right now. But I also know that if we cannot hold the election on May 17th, I'm still on the board, unless I choose to.
You're on the board officially until the next select
Election.
board is appointed. or sorry, sworn in.
Right.
Everybody
I'm on
thinks elections over, they're in, but they're not. They're not in until they're sworn in.
You're right. You're 100% correct. It's just like the President of the United States. He may be elected in November, but he doesn't take office until 20 January.
They're sworn in, that's correct.
Yeah, and they've already been talking
David,
about,
This is an appointed committee, and you're looking at the appointment, you're appointed to June 30th. No, June 2021.
okay, if you want to do it by the committee, yes, you are 100% right. But again, if we don't have any time for a special town meeting, or who knows? Things are supposed to be getting better. And from what I hear, things are. I haven't got my shots yet. I don't know if you've gotten yours, Bill, or not, or anything. I know.
Yeah, I got the first shot.
Good for you. Did you have an easy time getting it, or was it difficult?
Who did you kick out of line?
My son did it for me. He signed me up online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been trying to get online like Brian, and we haven't had any luck.
No,
Bill was able to walk some elderly person up there, and he was like the giver, right?
Mhm.
You weren't to get the shot.
You were kind of breaking up, Jim. I don't know if Bill got all that.
I'm not sure I heard you, Jim.
I was just kidding. You're not old enough to get the shot. You had to bring some elderly person up there to give her
you
the
weren't old
choice.
enough.
I'm old enough to get the shot. I hate to admit it.
Yeah, I think all of us are. And at 68, I'm the youngest one on the Energy Committee, believe it or not. With that, if nobody has anything they'd like to share or whatever, I will address in an adjournment.
So moved, Brian.
Second, Bill.
Okay, Bill
Okay,
second.
and then there's no discussion about the adjournment, so we got Brian first and Bill second. Then we just, all in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
Tim's and I.
Yep, everybody's an aye, Lil. We presume you are too.
I am too, okay.
And you're gonna let Kathy know to turn off the recording. I think I
I
can
will.
do that from this thing here now, but I'm not gonna mess with it.